All right, ladies and gentlemen, we have the A54 with us today. All right, I'm going to do a little phone review. As you can see, it's got a fingerprint scanner, which is pretty fast. And then on top of that, we have a 6.4-inch screen. And then it's an AMOLED, Super AMOLED screen. On top of that, with a processor, octa-core, is a CPU type, and it's a 2.4 gigahertz. From there, this phone does not have S Pen capability, just in case you were wondering. And it's got a front camera. This bad little boy is 32 megapixels. On the rear, we have these cameras. We have a 12 megapixel, a 5 megapixel, and a 50 megapixel. So that means you can record in 4K with 30 frames per second. You can also do slow motion at 240 frames per second at HD, so not 4K. It does have a expandable memory drive, from what I remember hearing. It's got internal storage. This one is 128 gigs. And the external storage takes up to 1 terabyte. Comes with 6 gigs of RAM. I did put a screen protector on this, as you can see. That's why it's got this little curve right there. And what else? Let's see. I've had this phone for 2 weeks. I've been using it as one of my main drives just to test it out. I'm usually a flagship kind of guy. Honestly, this phone is, in my opinion, just as good as getting an S23 Plus. I mean, it's about the same size, and you can do pretty much, I'd say at least 80% of what you can do on an S23, and it's half the cost. This phone is only $450 versus getting a Plus, which would be, I think, $999. It does have the awesome Samsung UI, which I do enjoy, mainly just because some of the other UIs don't give you this option. They give you the chance to change your wallpaper, but one thing I've always liked about Samsung is themes. I can change everything. I can go into this, say I want to download this, and it changes everything to look exactly like that. Now this phone does have up to 46 hours of battery/talk time. That's what they say. I don't know for sure. Personally, I use this on and off throughout the day with calls, text messaging, and then I also play my Marvel fighting game, which in the past, when I've gotten phones that were like the budget phones, this one I'd call a mid-tier, the phone would freeze when I got a text message. This phone, I have no problems getting a text message while still playing my Marvel fighting game. I also play this little city builder game where you can build yourself a little city, and it's got some fighting in it as well. Now, it doesn't have Dex on it. If you don't know what Dex is the program where you can basically plug your phone into a screen and run it like a computer. That usually comes with the S series, not the A series. This is an A54. It does support the Buds 2 Pro, and then on top of that, it does also come with NFC, so you could use the Samsung Wallet app. Other than that, personally, I've had it for 2 weeks. It's fast, it's fluid. I don't really have any issues, as you can see. I also took a picture at Target yesterday, and as you can see, the camera is pretty good. I mean, I took a picture just of the sign, mainly because I was thinking about, oh, let me do the review. But yeah, the camera's pretty good for what this phone says, you know. I mean, this camera up here is a 32 megapixel. On the S23, it's a 12 megapixel on the Ultra, which that to me is just like, what? You're telling me this phone, that's a 12 megapixel on the Ultra, on this big thing. But this one is a 32. Okay, why? Why didn't you just, Samsung, why didn't you put 32 on both or 50 on both? Because last year this was a 40 megapixel on the Ultra, but this year it's a 12 megapixel. It doesn't make any sense to me. I mean, yeah. Other than that, as you can see, it's fluid. I don't really ever see any lag. And it's, you know, it's not bad. It's a great phone. So if you're looking for something that meets about, I'd say 80% of an S23 production, then, you know, here's this.
And for no reason at all, I asked Mint Mobile's legal team if big wireless companies are allowed to raise prices.
Sales form for you to sign. You know what to do.
And as you can see, the screen is just as good. I'm playing video and it's loud.
Okay. Behind every great regional manager is a great...
So that is my review on the A54. If you're looking for something at $450, half the price of $999, that does 80%, I would say, of what that $999 can do, go with the A54. I've already recommended it to a few different friends I know that usually buy budget phones, and I try to talk them out of it because they're always having issues with those budget phones versus getting a mid-tier, where I never really met a lot of people that had issues with mid-tiers or flagships. I mean, the people that had issues with flagships I did meet when I was working at the cell phone stores because they dropped their phone a bunch. But if you're going to drop your phone, you're going to mess with the stuff on the inside. You're going to move that hardware around. And if you're going to move that hardware around, you're going to have issues, or you're going to crack your screen. So, you know, those were the really only issues I ever saw people have with mid-tier or flagship, unless they got a fold or a flip. And then they started peeling that little thing on the inside, that screen protector, which is a big no-no that Samsung tells you. But they would do it, and then they would wonder why their phone was messing up or their screen was looking bad. Well, you're not supposed to peel that. You're supposed to leave it on there. So, anyways, thank you for your time. If you like this video, please like, please subscribe. It would help out a lot. Just trying to get this thing going. If I can, I'll hopefully be able to buy a few more phones and start doing more reviews. Thank you for your time, and have a blessed one.